been fascinating to hear what you're all doing and judge your level of optimism. Because quite frankly, if this group loses the plot, we're kind of done.
It's been candidly, it's been at a higher level than the other conversations. All the interventions have been at a higher level. Secondly, the issues of where we're headed and the cross-cutting implications of AI and the society, if rarely mentioned, which is quite striking. I mean, I obviously, the book can be distilled into climate as a shorthand, since you've all suffered through it, you know that's not the only thing it's about. It's one of the big illustrations, and there is a pedagogical or a proselytizing aspect to it, which is related to what I'm trying to do with the UN and the COP and others. So it's there, but at the same time, the disruption that's coming or is underway, I think gets missed. That's my fault, not other people's. So, but you all go directly to the heart of it and are dumbing it down for my benefit, so that I can understand the perspective from which you're coming. So, which just shows me I've got a sort of inverted pyramid of work to do. So if you can send me the 34 books that you read, not just send me the list, don't send me the books, and I'll try to work my way through them. So it's been great, but it's been hard, which is good.
There is a certain level of ego involved. I think art wants a response. Artists want a response. Could I hope for a better one? This is amazing. I'm humbled that you would do this, that you would also put my work into conversation with research. Rigorous science is also humbling and amazing. Getting the opportunity to explain when I want to some of my ideas is lovely. It can sometimes be discombobulating, but I've been doing this long enough that there's very few responses you could give that they might delight me, they might surprise me, but are probably not going to throw me. And you're a generous group of people, and I love hearing your ideas. That I've been scribbling down notes. There's going to be probably more stories that come out of the things that you have shared with me. Thank you.
I have to be honest with you. I did not expect anybody to read the book. And I think the thing that shocked me more than anything else was that people actually read the book. And for that, I'm very grateful.
The short answer is it's great, especially considering this is my first novel. This is really the first time I've had people pick apart my story and really think deeply about it. And it's absolutely wonderful. It's really everything I could have ever asked for. And I'm so thrilled and privileged to be here. I did want to actually throw out that comment, even if you hadn't asked me that question. So good job setting me up to say this. But yes, I really deeply appreciate everyone, looking into it, thinking about it critically, examining it from so many different sides. That's really what I wanted. I am not in the business of predicting the future. I'm in the business of taking our present and using the future as a lens to examine the issues we're all facing today. And so I want people to think about that and to hopefully be a lot more conscious of the way forward and to be more deliberate in what paths we take and, avoiding things that they personally consider to be pitfalls. So this is absolutely lovely.
For me, it's sort of the dream, honestly. I would say, particularly in the time of COVID, but just in general, the author's life is you spend 3-4 years working on something essentially in silence, in this fortress of solitude, and then you send it off into the world and you just hope that it reverberates on other people's brains or has some kind of effect. And all I think an author wants is to see people engaging deeply and see their minds start to turn over and see the thoughts that it provokes in them. So for me, it's been a complete pleasure. I mean, I say this without exaggeration and without trying to butter anyone up. This is like the highest production value book club I've ever seen. Just in terms of the actual structure of it, the pacing, the caliber of everyone who's a part of it. And, for me, it's also a thrill to see people like Cynthia Rudin, Jillian, Dylan, who I consider colleagues and friends, and James and I have had many good conversations. And it's an opportunity for me to connect with Rich. Rich and I had a correspondence before this, but we'd never actually spoken. And so that combined with just the brain trust that you guys have put together, that for me is a thrill. It's a real pleasure and it's an honor.
It was great. I think it made me think a lot about how I could have written it better. And I took copious notes during all the meetings, and so I have a lot to work on. So thank you very much for this opportunity. It's been a great honor.
Absolute best thing that I've done with the book. You sent me this email, and I've been saying no to a ton of stuff because I have small children and pandemic, and it was such a nice email, and I'm so happy that I said yes to this, because it's just been incredible to have all of these extremely smart and kind and thoughtful people discuss my book in such detail. I'm humbled, I'm honored. I wish we could do this more. So thank you so much, everyone. Truly, this has been the best book thing I've done.
I love seeing assumptions debated, and of course as an author, of course, I prefer to write things and then put them in front of people and then run away to a safe distance. But I love the fact that we are also debating the GPT 3000 can do Rage Against the Machine, but we also debate, this is on the Slack channel, but that we are also debating what love actually looks like and what it means like to people. And I love the fact that different aspects of the story are actually being taken apart. And selfishly, this lets me write better stories, but on a different level, I would actually love to see more of this. I think we might get a better class of fiction for this to happen.
Thank you. I'm joining because it's so much fun, and this is such an excellent, amazing, the best run book group I've ever seen. So, and you have amazing thoughts and commentary, everyone. So thanks for making this a rewarding experience.
I think it's been amazing. I mean, I'm being real honest with you. I've had more interesting conversations, hearing other people talk about the book is fascinating to me. And I think the depth with the preparation, the organization, the seriousness of which you went about this, it just stands out uniquely among everything I've ever, almost anything I've ever done in my life. I mean, lots of interesting intellectual things I've been involved in, but whether you call this a book club, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this is. I'm still going to try to figure that out. But I think the level of engagement is just really amazing. I'm not saying that to butter you up. I really mean that. I think I said earlier, like I said, oh my God, I'm signing up for 3 weeks of this. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. 3 weeks, I can do another one, but you guys probably can't. So I think I'm still trying to digest what it is you guys do and why you all show up to do this. I don't have a really good sense for that yet, but I just totally appreciate the effort everyone put into this. I mean, everyone, all the questioners, other people who read the book, everyone's organized your questions, Ajay. And I'm not just saying that. I really mean that this was a really delightful experience. And it got me thinking about things I hadn't thought about before.
I am naive in the field of AI, and I'm fascinated by it. And it's been very intriguing to hear experts in this field. And so I thank you all for enlightening me. Thank you very much.
As several people have pointed out, serious, complicated questions. Our future definitely does depend on them. We are at a period of great challenge, opportunities. How they're dealt with by people like you are going to determine what kind of human society will exist, or even whether human society will exist, very much in question. Lots to think about, interesting questions, interesting ideas. I think whatever answers you all come to, it's been an exciting challenge.
Well, first of all, I love the way you run it, AJ. It's a non-trivial task to do something like this. So I was quite impressed that you can keep the train moving and on track. That's quite a feat. And it was just a treat for me to come back to this world and sort of get back into the discussion of the impact of this technology. I'm glad that this community of scientists and engineers is having this discussion.
Y'all are absolutely incredible. Like there are a couple times I was tempted to turn my camera off because I was like, I'm starting to blush. This was such an amazing discussion. Like I could do this for a whole nother 90 minutes. Like this is absolutely amazing. Y'all, this is like the most insightful, like compassionate, like humanist and exciting discussion I've had about this book yet. And it just like, I cannot thank you all. Like this is the platonic ideal of like reader engagement for me. So thank you all. Like this is literally a dream come true. Like I write a book and then this is like literally what I dream of having happen. And so thank you all so much for making this dream come true.
Yeah, well, this has been, very intense and very, very full of ideas. And I guess, one of the big takeaways for me from this session is the way in which these philosophical questions can be intensely practical. I approach these philosophical questions from a theoretical perspective. I don't naturally adopt the practical perspective, but again and again, what I find is if you think about some theoretical issue in philosophy, it becomes very practically, it often, not always, but it often turns out to be very practically relevant, whether it's issues about, say, mind uploading, in which case questions of personal identity are going to be, life or death questions, or questions about, of the sort that Geordie was bringing out about the ways that, epistemological questions of what kind of world am I in become very relevant to designing AI systems, to social and political questions. Actually, one surprising thing, interesting thing that's happened to me since publishing this book is getting invited to weigh in on various practical matters or just talk to people. Yesterday I talked to the game company Roblox, who are building virtual worlds themselves and trying to build the metaverse. And it was just fascinating to get their perspective. People are asking me to weigh in on, like, I'm on a committee for governance in the metaverse, which is social and political questions that I really have no expertise on and should not be opining on. But it turns out, these are questions that really matter. And it turns out that thinking philosophically about these things can matter. So whether or not I'm the perfect person to address those practical questions, I'm very excited by the idea that there'll be a body of people taking up these philosophical questions in a practical context, whether it's engineering, science, technology, politics, and communally through this distributed mind that we're constituting. It turns out that thinking about philosophy is thinking clearly about philosophy is something that can really actually help us address practical questions that we care about. That's so we've got a number of beautiful illustrations of that today, and I'm grateful for that.
There's another level one reaches when you can let yourself relax a little bit, go back and forth for an hour or so or more over time, and really dig into things. And have always been constantly delighted by discovering people who care about these issues as much as I do, to at least talk, maybe not as much as I do, but at least enough to like read the book and talk about it. Like, these are nothing in my book is going to help sell TV sets or phones or make anybody rich or cure disease or anything like that. It's not that practical level. It's really about the quest, the human curiosity to understand how the world works. And I just always love it when I find fellow people who are interested in those questions. I think that it's just great to have a meeting of the minds where people can talk to each other, disagree, with each other, dig into some of the details. You know, I'm on the internet a lot. Like I do podcasts, I do tweets and things like that. And one of the best things about that is the instant feedback, right? You know, people are right there, right in your face. Writing a book is not like that. I'm convinced that there are people out there who've read the book, but I don't have a lot of chances to really sit down and go back and forth with those people. So this provides that chance with a bunch of really engaged readers and talkers, and that's a great pleasure.